Well, good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. You've seen this one before. This is my, I think it's an 84 Snapper 21355P that runs terribly, leaks oil, has bad compression. Did a leak down test on it in a previous video and it was not good. So today, a couple days ago actually, I got my order from Amazon. I got a shiny new head gasket. I got a genuine Briggs & Stratton. It's a 19063X valve spring compression tool. I got a new set of valve lappers and a shiny new tube of Permatex valve grinding compound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a compression test on it just to see what it's like, and then we're going to tear into it. It has a new air filter, a new spark plug, and a bunch of other stuff in it, little junk. So what I'm going to do is tear down, take the top off, and we're going to look at the ring grooves and see how bad that is. If that looks okay, even if it's not, I'm going to pull the side cover off, pull the valves off. Since it's a flathead, it's got a valve access panel on the back by the exhaust, and I will take care of that. We'll pull those out, we'll take a look at them. I'm going to try a couple of experiments before I get after it with anything abrasive. I've heard soaking valves that are all carboned up, which I'm sure these are, and the head. Soaking them in seafoam is supposed to loosen it up a little bit. We'll see. I'm going to try to accomplish a couple things with this video. A few chemical experiments as well as lapping the valves, seeing if anything there fixes it up. All I want it to do is run. I'm going to sell it. I don't care what I get for it. It's just going to go. But it's junk as it is, so if I can make it run and get somebody something that's got a few parts in it that'll last a few years and give it to them for cheap, I think that's the best outcome. I've got a whole shop full of equipment here that I've worked on this year. Last year was Snowmageddon here in Minnesota. It snowed every single day, all winter from like just after Thanksgiving till almost middle of April. Heavy duty wet snow. Today it's January, what is the date? Today is January 13th when I'm filming the beginning of this. This will take a few weeks probably to get through it. It's January 13th and we have exactly a quarter inch of snow on the ground, but it's really cold. It's below zero. So it's a good day to start tackling a few little things in the shop. So I will get my compression tester out and we'll give that a shot right away. Okay, first thing, 13/16. Plug looks okay. It's been in there a few years, but this is the one where I got the big chunk of aluminum out of the threads. You can probably see a few witness marks there, but after that it ran good for a very short period of time. Alright, give it a few pulls and see what happens. No surprise, we are about 25 psi. We'll do it one more time. Samtang. Not much for compression at all on the old girl. And got some crap on my threads. There was a little on there before. I should have cleaned them off. It's really stood it up. Last time it was running, it stalled and it's running super rich. Okay, I will tear it apart a bit. That takes some time and you don't need to watch that because it's boring. I will be back soon with an open engine. Okay, it's fairly stripped down and I'm going to take the head off next. gotta take that off too. Hang on one second. Oh, I figure out what I need. Alright, I ended up removing both carburetor bolts. That wasn't it. The bracket was held on behind that by another 1/2 inch, so I did that. Ooh, that's nasty. Well, the head gasket is fried. It's split in half. Some of it's stuck on here, some of it's stuck on there, so we'll clean that off. Not much of a ring. That is impressive. There's no ridge here. Well, we're gonna spin the engine over here a little bit. It is carboned up, and the exhaust valve is cleanish. The intake valve is not-ish. So let me clean this garbage off here and we will see what it looks like then. Okay, I got most of it apart. Looking in the cylinder, there's a little schmoo on the edge here, a little carbon from just carbon deposits. The head itself has got some schmutz on it, but the head gasket was definitely blown. It came apart in chunks, and I thought, well, that's just because it was stuck in there, but no, you can see on the bottom here what was blown out. I didn't notice that, and there's no soot down on the bottom here. There's some back here, but I thought that was from the exhaust. So I'm going to take a look at it a little closer. I got to get the cover off here. I need a 1/4 inch socket. I thought I could reach it with my screwdriver, but I can't. So my battery's getting a little bit low, so I thought I'd jump in and comment here. I'm going to keep going on this a little bit, maybe get the valves out today, and then I'll put them on the bench and lap them probably tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. I think 99%, well, not 99, I think more than 50% of the problem was the head gasket. I can't even throw the guy who did it for me about 20 years ago under the bus, because yes, it was me. I must have done it wrong, or it just blew out. I don't know. This thing has been ridden hard and put away wet for going on 40 years, so it's got some wear, but I'm really impressed. There are no grooves, no ridges, no nothing. There's not even a ridge up the edge here. There's some carbon buildup here. I'll get that off, but really inside here it is in great shape. In fact, if I can do this, because there's no compression, I just took a little carb cleaner, wiped off the top. I mean, there's no pitting, no nothing on the top of the piston, so might get lucky. I don't know about rings. They're probably pretty worn, but I thought that was blow by everywhere from the intake, the low compression, the valves, the rings. So we'll see. I don't think I'm going to pull the rings out of it or pull the head here off or anything, or actually the whole thing apart. But anyway, I'm feeling better about putting a head gasket in there, lapping the valves, and seeing if I can get a little more compression. So if I get past that, we'll see. And you can see I did put in a new coil last year. That worked really well. And then my governor got sticky. That was the problem this summer, and I thought, screw it, I just pushed it aside and thought I'll get to it this winter. So we'll stop here for now, and I will come back if I have battery left. Otherwise, I'll do an update tomorrow as we start putting things, lapping valves and putting them back together. Well, it's the next day, still just as cold outside. I was able to get the intake valve out, and inside the bottom of the intake chamber, it is absolutely packed with carbon deposits, so I'm going to have to scrape that out. The intake valve doesn't look, I don't know if it's focusing or not. Not really. Well, you can see probably there are some heavy-duty carbon deposits on this. I'm going to soak this overnight in some seafoam just to see how that works, and then I will lap this valve. The exhaust valve is different on this one. The intake valve has got these standard cups and springs. The exhaust valve on this particular model, I didn't notice it till I got the cover off and then looked at the book again. It's already got an auto rotate feature, so every time the valve goes, it's supposed to rotate a 1/4 turn. I don't know if that's happening or not. So there's a couple different types of valves in this engine. The book was a little bit misleading in how it represented it went together, so I struggled a bit getting it apart, but I got a big bright light in here, took a look with a magnifying glass, and saw what was really happening inside the valve chamber, or in the valve spring chamber. So this is the intake valve that I took out. I think I showed it before with all of the carbon and everything on it. I soaked it for a few days in seafoam. It did absolutely nothing, so I ended up scraping it off. I did not scrape the face on the valve over here on the side. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, I did lap this one already just to see how it would look with just a real quick lap. It won't take much to polish this up and get the seals or the faces in good shape again. So the intake valve has the standard spring and cup. I believe this goes in this way. Let's see if that fits. Yeah, so that way is the way it goes. I don't know if it really makes a difference. But then this cup goes through here and catches in the bottom holder. So that worked really well using this Briggs & Stratton. It's a 19063X valve spring compression tool. The exhaust valve, I haven't done anything with this other than a quick clean. It is carboned up on the outside. I'm going to scrape some of that off or get it off with a Scotch-Brite. And then I have not touched anything on the back here. I did clean up a little bit of crud that was back here with the... I tried some Brasso. It did nothing. So I'll do something else on this one. But this is the one that caused me some pain because I thought it was going to be the same as the intake. But it's actually got this. This has got the valve rotor, or the, what do they call it, a rotocoil? Yeah. So it's this little thing. It's got a slip disc on the outside, and it's supposed to, every time it goes around up and down, it's supposed to turn. I don't know how that happens exactly, but the mechanism is it's got that on top, then it's got the little cup that goes into the bottom to hold it in place. A little bit of a notch there, and then of course there is a pin that goes in. So once I saw that, I got a compression tool around here, and the pin just fell right out. So it was really easy to take out. And now I'm going to clean it up, and then we'll go back and lap it. All right, I hope the lighting's a little bit better here. I'm trying, but I don't have a lot of options right at the moment here in the shop. So, as I mentioned before, I have done a quick lap on this one, which is the intake valve. And you can see that the seat here is pretty shiny compared to how dark the seat on the exhaust one is. There's a little bit of cleaner in here. There. So we're going to do the top one again real quick. I'll just show you how I do it. I'm not an expert at this, but it's not too hard. So I have a valve grinding compound and a lapping tool. The lapping tool is just a vacuum fit or a suction fit on the intake valve. It fits on there pretty good. The way I do it, which is probably wrong, is I just run a little tiny bead around it. Got quite a bit coming out there, but let me just do it this way. I'll smooth it out with my finger if I need to. Get a little bit of compound, just a bead around the whole edge. Doesn't have to be all the way around because it'll be rotating through it once I get going. All right. So something like that. Just go down the center. And I never shove it all the way in and start it. I'll always start it out a bit. So the thing is you want to get just a mild, you can hear it there. It's kind of a grind, but you want to get a nice even fit. And I always keep spinning it while I bring it out. And sometimes I'll go down and back if I think there's there. But I don't want to go too far. This is fairly coarse fit, or coarse compound. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to wipe it off. Give me a minute. We start from the inside and wipe outwards, or at least I do. And I'll wipe this so you can still see there's a pretty good clean edge there. So I think that one's lapped about as much as it should be. If I wipe this off, you can see there's a dull line right down the middle. So the seat is in there. They're not wearing, they're not sitting too deep or too shallow. There's a little darkening on here. I didn't want to scratch on that with a knife because I don't want to wreck the mating surface. So I think this one we'll consider done for now. I'm just going to set it in here. And I'll grab the exhaust valve. So I did clean up the exhaust valve a little bit. It's not great. This is really burned on there on the surface. I didn't go after the sides or the face. You can still see they're pretty black. I did hit just the edge with the Scotch-Brite to make sure there wasn't any big lumps there, but I didn't go after it too hard. So, see if this one still fits, or if it's the same one. Yeah, that fits on there pretty good. Let me put a bead on. Okay. And if I'm doing it wrong, please let me know. Put a comment down below. I read them all. Hopefully I learned something. But you can see this is pretty dark, and this one was dark all the way around, so let's just see how it goes. Oh, got to turn the engine because that one's got the push rod up. There we go. Just a little bit of pressure, not a lot. Also, if I'm doing it too long, let me know, because I want to learn and do this better. I've done these before, and this has worked. So let me clean it off and see how it looks. Not great. Gonna have to do that again, or let me clean it and make sure I'm not looking at it wrong. Yeah. See what it's doing here. I'll have to do this one again. Apparently I didn't put enough pressure on it, or something is not lining up. It's a little bit cleaner. I guess I got to put a little more pressure on it. And you got to make sure you get all of the compound off the suction cup and off the face if there was any. I just tried to put it on and it didn't stick. Try it again. I've heard it's best to keep going all the way around than a lot more back and forth. Do this to break through and then move it around and do it a couple of different times. And I suppose that might be because on the exhaust you have a lot more heat. So let's try it again. Okay, yeah, that's working. Give me a second to get it cleaned off here, man. This is a mess. Okay, now you can see here, going around, that it's starting to get through the darkened material. I don't know if that's, yeah, it's actually looks like it's through. I'm going to do one more small set of laps and see how the seat looks now. Yeah, it's getting a little bit lighter right in there. That's good. So it is with the exhaust. There's some carbon buildup there that looks like it's a little harder to get through. All right, third time's a charm, right? All right, let's check that. Okay, now you can see it's about the same all the way around. I don't think it made any real difference doing that last one. See a little of the grinding compound on there. I'll clean that off before I put it all together for sure. And we'll take one more quick look at the valve seat. Again, I try to start inside and work it outside. I am going to look around closer with the light. I won't be able to show you that because I can barely see it, and you don't need to see my big head in there. It looks like there's a little black spot right over here, and that could very well be a shadow. I can't really tell, so I'll get in there with the light and see what that looks like. Okay, took a couple more trips around the sun with the lapper, lapping compound. I got this one. Can you see it there? Yeah. Pretty clean. It's good. There was a little bit of crud right here, It took me a couple more laps to take that off. Well, that would have probably contributed to a little bit of compression loss anyway. So now I don't know where that piston is. I've been rotating things around. They're in and they fit down pretty good. Let's get back to top dead center. Both are closed. So that's where I'm going to leave that. I'm going to go ahead and do a little more cleaning, and then I'll put the springs back in. When I'm done with that, I'm not sure how to put that back in because it's going to take me a while, and I have bad light. I can't really get at it. They're way back around here is where they go in, and I have to actually come in through the handlebars to do it. It's a pain in the butt. But if you're looking here, I need to clean this up again before I put it in. There is no ring ridge in this aluminum cylinder, which is shocking. You'd think there'd be one after 40 years, but there is absolutely nothing down at the end. There was a little bit of carbon, but I cleaned it up, and that should be about it for that. So I will put the valves back in, and then I will come back and we'll put the head back on and see what the compression looks like. All right, the valves are back in. That was a little trickier than I thought, but it wasn't too bad. The one that came out the easiest went in the hardest. The one that was hardest to get out, still took a little getting used to, but I got it in there okay. So I do have my new Oregon head gasket. I bought it from a place called Buckeye Tool Supply. I think it was off Amazon. But it looks pretty good. It's not kinked or anything, so we'll put it back in. I did take a look at the specs. The book says that this, and this, or these three over here, actually, the bottom three, are the long bolts. Well, they're all exactly the same from what I took out. So, and I know when I did this a few years ago, they were all exactly the same because I would not have had painted bolts that worked that way. So, what I'm going to do is put them in there and torque them down. Everything's cleaned up from as good as I'm going to make it. I took all the carbon off everything. So we'll just start putting it back together, and then we'll do a compression test. I did just clean up the threads with using the wire wheel. I didn't have any new bolts or anything like that, so Alright, took a look at the torque specs for the 90,000 model. It is a 90702. It says it's 140 inch-pounds, which is about 12 foot-pounds. A little bit less, so I set it for 12. Just snug them up. Probably not doing it in the exact right order. Skip every other one. And now I'm going to go take a look and do the final torquing in the right order. Alright, I got the manual, so I do it right. They say start here. There's 12. 1, 2. And then which way did they want me to go? They go to the bottom. 3. Top. 4, 5 over here, 6 down here, let's see, and then bottom, and top. Now I know you're not supposed to do this twice, but I always do just to make sure I got it right. Start here, 1, 2, a little bit looser, I suppose the compression of the head gasket, and down here 3, 4 up here, 5, and 6, and 7 under bottom, and 8. Okay. That is good. So now, I'm going to put the old spark plug in. Oh no, don't need that. I'm going to grab my compression tester, and we'll do that next. Alright, had to put the cover back on in order to have the recoil hooked up. So Yes, I did have to take this these two bolts out. I forgot this carburetor bracket goes around here. I did retorque them all again, just to make sure I didn't screw anything up. All right. Okay, had to put a few more parts back on, had to put the recoil back on. Had to put the carburetor bracket on, I forgot about that, so I retorqued those bolts. But let's do a compression test now and see if we made any improvement at all. I'm expecting there's some, but maybe not a ton. A little bit, a few pounds. That was a complete waste of time. I'm going to try it a couple more times with my right hand, get a better angle on it. About same. So that was a waste of time. Or it could be that it's just really cold out here. I don't think so. I'm going to put the carburetor back together. I'm going to make some adjustments on the governor. So I'll take the covers off again. That's really depressing. I thought for sure those valves were causing me problems, but we'll see. Maybe it will run better once I get going and everything heats up and seals up. So that's it for now. Yeah, I think this one has seen better days. Compression test yielded exactly what we had before, maybe a couple of pounds more, but it hasn't warmed up, it hasn't fired yet. Well, at the end of the day, it cost me $8 for a head gasket, so not a big deal. I will try a few more things, put some fuel in it and see if I can get it to run. That's really too bad. She's toast. All right, well, thanks a lot. Catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you see I did anything wrong, please let me know. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I think this 39-year-old mower has just seen the better of its mowing days. And I'm maybe sending a $8 head gasket to the junkyard. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by.